Yeah, so syndications in general, I think it's a great opportunity for people that are syndicating deals, and also great for people that are looking to invest passively. To be able to come together and buy a bigger deal. The sum of the whole itself is greater than the sum of its parts, right? So like all the people coming together, you couldn't purchase a deal like this on your own, but coming together, you get a better deal than what you would get separately, right?
Mm,
It's like if you buy a 30 unit deal, you get 30 units in one place. What's the chances of you being able to buy 30 units right next to each other separately?
right.
Basically none, right? You can't buy 30 single family homes next to each other. So that creates, just that itself makes the 30 unit apartment better. It's got more advantages because everything's in one place.
Yeah.
So being able to come together and do that, um everybody gets to benefit from it.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Invest Iowa. Today, I have Alex Love. What a nice last name. Is that your last name?
Yeah, so love Lee. lee
Lovely.
lee is the last name, and we added love in there to make it to for marketing, and it's
Oh,
great.
okay. Alex Lee. Okay, Alex
Love.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Today we're going to talk about syndication and what that looks like for your average person looking for a greater deal than your 7% annualized return on a stock market, right? Um, and what does that look like? What does that entail? How to get started? And maybe get some help from Alex. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for coming, man.
thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So we were
Yeah.
talking about syndication. I mean, but before we actually jump into the main topic of the area, like, what are your qualifications? So, who are you? What do you represent for? What do you stand for?
Yeah.
Tell me about you.
It's an interesting question, because when people ask who are you, either I can lay out my accolades and things that I've done, or what I want to achieve, what I aspire to do. Because I think that's more aligned to where I want to be, is kind of the person I want to be. And what I've done is leading up to it. So I'll do both, right? So
Fair
I
enough.
think in being able to tell a quick story of who I am and what I'm trying to achieve, maybe the rest of it will fall in line a little bit better. So I have a belief system that I think, um I want everybody to be able to step in and break free from the money game. And what that means is, most of us are constrained by money itself. Like, we every aspect of our life revolves around money.
Hmm.
So breaking free from that, we're scarce. We think there's not enough. It's limited. And so coming into an abundance mindset, I think, it requires each of us to look within and see how we are relating to money. And so I teach a lot of mindset stuff like that. And 2 billion people on the planet live making less than $2 a day. 2 billion people. There's only 8 billion people on the planet, and 2 billion people live like that. And it isn't because they're scarce in resources or in their mindset. It's actually because the advanced countries like the United States, and where everything, there's an abundance of everything. Um and that's we're in the scarce mindset. They say $100 billion ends world hunger. And how have we allowed world hunger to continue?
Right.
$100 billion. You take
Right.
any one of the Fortune 500 companies and they can end it, right? So from that space, that's the change maker I want to be. I want to be able to impact the world that way. So building community, mentoring, and using real estate as a vehicle. So now to the accolades, right? To who I am, is I've been doing real estate for about 18 years, done everything in the residential space. I've bought single family homes, I've built single family homes, I've done full out renovations, duplex, triplex, quadplex, lease options, land, everything that you could do in that space, I explored and have done. And about 2 years ago, I stepped into the multifamily space because I had enough people that wanted to invest with me, but I didn't have enough deals. And it's a lot more work to do all these deals, right? So putting it all together in the one deal just made sense to me, and so I learned the syndication method. It's worked out really well. I think a lot of my real estate background translates and serves the syndication multifamily space. The fundamentals of investing that I learned through investing in residential, transfers over to this to multifamily. So today I'm at, a little bit right around 800 units asset under management. We have everything from storage deals to apartments to, short-term rentals. So those are all part of my portfolio. And yeah, we're in different markets: Georgia, Florida, Texas, Las Vegas, North Carolina. So it's a long version of who I am, I guess.
I see what you're saying. So
Yeah.
talk to me about your portfolio. What's so special about your portfolio? What do you think stands out?
So I think why it stands out is because, about only one deal we went in without being fixed, right? Without the fixed rates. And that's important because part of, for me, the fundamentals was I have investors' money. I have to be extra conservative. Losing my own money is one thing, but losing other people's money is a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
So it's about protecting it. Like the number one thing is about protecting it. Now, of course, there are strategies out there that I think is great to use bridge debt and get the adjustable rates. And the last 10 years, it would have been awesome doing it. But we couldn't see what happened in the economy, right? What the Feds did with the crazy increase in interest rates. So a lot of people got into trouble there. And even through this period of time, we're still distributing money to our investors because we have, the fundamentals of real estate, which is your debt. One of them is the debt, right? Looking at the debt, if you have fixed, what the cost is going to be every year, every month.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's adjustable, right, even if you got it at 3.5, right, like we had a couple deals where we were offered lower adjustable rates, but I was like, no, we'll take the fixed, because there wasn't any reason for us to go adjustable. We weren't doing big renovation jobs and we didn't want to refi out early, and with fixed debt, oftentimes what you'll get is you get some sort of prepayment penalty if you want to get out early.
Yeah.
I'd rather have that and have the security. My risk tolerance for my investors isn't as high as it is for myself. So I think that's what makes a lot of our deals special, is that we are still distributing money in today's market where everybody's either in trouble or have halted distributions, right? Like yesterday, we just distributed money. And so I love those days when we distribute money to our investors. It's just so much fun.
It's like, here, thank you for believing in me. I
Yeah,
approve you.
totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And and I've been in the I'm not a guru in multifamily or anything, but I have done it fast and I have done it with discipline and build a decent sized portfolio in a short period of time. And I think every morning I wake up and I thank the people that invested in me. These
Yeah.
are the first deals. I mean, I have no doubt in my mind that a couple years down the road, it's going to be much bigger. I'm going to be working with institutional money and all of that. But these are the people that believed in me, and I want to do everything I can to deliver, be the best operator, to return the most money I can.
Talk about,
Reputation.
yeah.
Reputation is the most important thing in the game.
Yeah. If they don't like you, they won't work with you again, and they'll refer you. They'll make sure
Yeah.
they'll refer you badly. Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
this is operating just reminds me of, I have this guy. He was looking at a property. He needed to raise 100K to buy a 400K. He raised the 100, but only gave 80% equity of the total deal. So right there, you're basically making infinite money because you're not putting any money in. What do you think
Mhm.
about that?
So who, the operator?
Yeah, the operator. I mean, it's insane. Like you're pretty much structuring a deal in a way that like you're getting 20% equity um for the 100 that you needed to raise in order to get into the property, but you're not putting any money. You're just
Well, the
collecting
thing
it.
about real estate is this is why you get to be creative, right? Because
Hmm.
if I could offer you much, much higher returns than the stock market, and even if we're 50-50, it's still a great return for you, right? It
Yeah.
isn't about fair or not fair. And this is the exactly what I was sharing about in the beginning of the call, which is the relationship to money. See, we see money as way more important than anything else. And that's what needs to change. Oh,
Yep.
because you put money in, you should have more percentage. Well, everybody's got money. Not everybody's got knowledge. Not everybody's be able to find the deal. Not everybody can operate the deal, right? Would you want somebody to give you 100% since you put all the money in and they run into the ground, or would you give up? I would give up 50% to make sure the deal is safe, to make sure I get my returns. And I
Right.
think people with money understand that. People with money understand that you got to give somebody money to operate it for you if you want to be passive. Now, if you want to be active, go do it yourself. You don't need this person,
Yeah.
right? But the reason why you're even giving money to this person is because they provide some sort of value and they can get compensated for it. Now, most deals, you should want the operator to have money in the deal too, just as an investor, because now their skin is in the game. But if they have built a track record and you have done deals with them and you know what they're capable of doing, this is their job, right? This is their active income. They're running it. And so, I've done plenty of deals when I was first coming back up from, I lost a lot of money in the restaurant business when I got into it. And so when I came back, I had to create partnerships that way. So I totally, every scenario is different. I raised money and I was 50-50 partners and made our partners a whole ton of money, doubled their returns. They're in infinite returns right now and in multiple deals. I'm in infinite returns, but I'm not actually in infinite returns because I'm putting time in for
Yeah.
my returns. I'm actually having the worst of the returns.
Yeah. I mean, there's
Right.
only
So
one way to
yeah.
start, right? So
Mhm.
it's just putting the skin in the labor. Um,
Yeah.
how come? I have two questions. So, like, how
Yeah.
are you getting your deals, and where specifically? Because you mentioned that you're doing all over the U.S., right? Because you mentioned
Mhm.
Florida. I heard you mentioned Texas,
Texas, Georgia, North
Georgia.
Carolina,
Okay,
Vegas. Yeah.
so the administrative side of that, how are you managing that?
Yeah. So this is another reason why you want to buy bigger deals, because we have management companies in place running them and we have once a week phone calls with them. So just on the side of having management, right? If I have 4 units, 10 units, I can't really afford a management company.
Right.
I might be able to have somebody manage it, but I'm paying them like $100 a month. Who's picking up the phone call at 3 a.m. for $100 a month?
Not
Right?
me.
Nobody. Yeah, nobody's doing it. So you can't even afford that, right? And now you can't afford to go and do it out in other states and in other markets where you might get better returns. Now, if
Okay.
you can get something that has a decent size, 30 units or more, now you can afford at least one manager, right? Like a property management company and one person on payroll, something like that. Once you break over 100, you can probably have two. You can have a property manager and a maintenance guy, right? Something like that. So, having a company be able to manage your property is how you can scale into other locations.
Right.
And also, what I would do is I would bring somebody on board that is boots on the ground over there, is where somebody is can keep an eye on the property. I will give them a percentage to just be there, do
Hmm.
the things I need them to do to go check up on the property, because that's peace of mind for me. I know somebody's on the team. They don't even need to put money in. See, this is another part. Like you got to be able to exchange money for something that's more valuable, which is time and energy from somebody.
Or equity. I see what you're
Yeah,
saying.
and equity. So,
Yeah.
that kind of goes back to your question of, somebody's taking 20% when they didn't put any of the money in the game. I think it's
It's
totally
fair.
fine. It's fair. I mean,
Yeah.
it depends. If somebody has a lot more knowledge and can return more money, I would say that's worth even more than the money that's been put into the deal. And
Hmm.
I think as you get higher and higher and bigger into the game, you'll realize that the super wealthy and the people that really know what they're doing can get the best deals. They don't need to put any money into the game.
Hmm.
Yeah. They can actually just use their net worth
Yeah.
and get a piece of the property because
Yeah.
I need them, right? So if I'm doing a $20 million deal, I can't sign on to the deal because I don't have that net worth. Then somebody that's got the net worth can simply sign on and demand 15-20% of the managing partner's percentage,
Right.
right? They don't have
Right.
to do anything.
Yeah, that brings me back. How are you getting these deals? Special, like what's your funnel system? What's your marketing strategy?
Mm.
And do you have a team built around this? How are you doing all this?
Yeah. So in the beginning, of course, you got to put in the work. You got to learn it. So you call the brokers, you get on a whole bunch of lists, you underwrite a whole ton of deals, underwrite like 1,000 deals, have your benchmark. Like, I will stop and I will get into a deal. I won't stop until I get 1,000, until I've underwritten and analyzed 1,000 deals. I think that's a good marker to go for because most people underwrite 20 deals and be like, nothing's happening and just give up, right? 20. And I've seen plenty of people start, underwrite 15, 20 deals and just call it a day and be like, I'm done, right? This is too hard for me and I can't get into a deal this way. Well, get to 1,000, set your goal to 1,000 and track it in the spreadsheet. That way, at least give yourself that leeway. Be like, if I'm committed to being in this game, then let me underwrite 1,000 deals. Let me
Yeah.
have 1,000 conversations with brokers. Because once you've done that, whether or not you've gotten into a deal, your confidence is through the roof, right? You've taken the concepts of underwriting and analyzing deals and you've took it and you brought it into the core of who you are.
Right.
And so I think to start is definitely to talk to the brokers, get on the list, see some deals, underwrite them, bounce it off other people that are ahead of you, right? And build relationships. You got to build relationships. In the beginning, you'll feel like a fake and you'll feel like you're not enough and who am I to get to deserve this or whatever. Any limiting beliefs will come up when you're first starting something brand new, of course. But just keep leaning into that uncomfortable zone, right?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
but then after you write all those deals, like you got to put in the work. What's
Yeah.
your system now? I'd imagine it has evolved to something a lot more efficient.
Yeah. So now it's about people bring me the deal. I'll show you guys how to underwrite, right? Because if I'm still doing the same thing, I have not elevated my game. So now let me teach other people how to do it. Bring the deals to me in this format, right? Show me these things and show me the market. Tell me why you love it. If they all pass those tests, and show it to me and we can look at it. And so I have people bring me deals all the time. There's only a couple brokers that I speak to, and that's the people directly in the market I'm working with right
Yeah.
now, which is Las Vegas.
Give me
And
give me an example of a deal that somebody's brought to you recently.
so I mean, recently we get people bringing me deals all the way from 10 units to 300 units,
Mm.
and most of the times based on where I think they are is the size of the units that I think they should be presenting. If somebody's brand new, like presenting me a 300 unit deal, it's not really feasible, right? Because
Yeah.
then it means I got to do all the legwork for you.
Yeah.
You just found a deal. Like, what do you want out of that, right? Like anybody can look for deals that are completely out there. But somebody yesterday brought me a deal that's 9 units, and I was like, okay, I can see you can take down 9 unit. Anybody can take down nine unit.
Yeah.
Still considered multifamily. It's going to give you a whole ton of learning opportunities. So, present to me the 9 units, present to me the NOI and all of that, cap rates and everything. And, learning lesson there for him was he's like, hey, the broker says that it's a 6.5 cap that I'm going to get it. We run the numbers for real. And I didn't even need a lot of the numbers. I'm like, look, this is at best a 2 cap that you're going to get this. And I'm like, look in the OM again, right? Look in the OM again. I guarantee you their 6.5 cap is not based off of current income. It's some projection that they made up. And they're saying this is a 6.5 cap because you can do this and this. And then they inflate some number. Okay, well, do it and then sell it to me at a 6.5 cap.
Yeah.
Right. And so there's, going through some of those things, I got to train up the people around me to be able to ask the questions. And when they present me the deal, they should have gone through all of that already too.
I see what
Right.
you're
But if
saying.
not, again, I have a lot of patience because teaching and mentoring is my passion. So, I answered those a lot, but my goal is to have everybody that works with me get up to my level so they can bring the deals, they can see it the way I see it, and we can do deals together faster.
Right, right. What are you looking at state wise? Because every state has different cap, different
Mhm.
laws, different regulations. How are you managing that?
Yeah.
Besides, of course, doing it over and over and over again and disconnecting with the people. Is there anything besides what I just mentioned that you're doing when looking at deals that are outside of states
Yeah.
and
Out
states that you don't know?
in states I don't know. Well,
You only invest in
whoever,
states you know?
well, I invest in people, in the relationships, right?
Okay.
So show me why I should work with you. Well, you got to show me that first. I got to see your commitments. Show me why I should work with you. If you're going to bring a deal from your backyard, you got to tell me a lot more about why you love it and why it's superior to other markets. And I'll say, okay, that makes sense. There are things that we can see from the outside when we analyze a market, that can kind of show us, all right, this makes sense. So, for example, if somebody shows up, an upcoming area and they're like, this property can increase rents to X to whatever number, then you look at the median income in that area. Is it at least 3 times what you think you can raise the rents to? If it's not, then even if you think you can, it's going to be a challenge,
Yep.
right? So there's got to be, there's a lot of different little criterias and little things that can kind of show you if the market is good or not. And somebody may just answer all those questions. I'm like, wow, all right, they did their homework. They know what they're doing. And what do you need from me? Right? Maybe somebody's like, we need somebody to sign on to the loan. Maybe somebody's like, we need to raise, we need somebody to help raise at least half the capital, or we need somebody to help, manage the asset, manage the management company, anything, or try to even take down the deal.
Yeah.
Right. So outside markets, we look for somebody that typically have done a deal at least. And if you bring something from outside, first I got to see your commitments, right? Like, why should I be in a relationship with you? Why should I take my time and my energy to do your deal when I have deals coming to me all the time? you
I
know
see what you're saying.
yeah.
But then with regards to what type of deals are you guys buying? Are you buying value add or are you just looking to just maintain that cash flow, that generational wealth accumulation?
Yeah, I mean, typically we want to see properties that are cash flowing day one,
Okay.
right? If there's and then also what's the debt that we can get on it? I want to know those two things. And the other thing is, what's the value add in it? Like, is it a renovation play, right, to get the rents up? Is it just as is, it's good enough to increase the rents, right? Like, what are some value add opportunities that the current seller is not doing, right? And I think when you're looking under 75 units, you're going to find a lot of mom pop type of properties,
Yeah.
which, they're not running a management company really. Everything's all mixed up. It's a mess. Just from that, you have opportunities because they're not organized, and plus they probably owned it for so many years that they're just, they know every single person that lives there, first name basis, right? That means they're probably saying, okay, you can pay rent a week late, okay, next week, and I don't want to increase the rent on you, and it's been like 7 years and there's been no rent increase. Those are all amazing opportunities, right? Every single deal, once somebody's owned it for a long time, naturally it just gets kind of stagnant and stale. And all deals need is a new energy, new blood to come in and bring it back to life. And I think with, all there's in the next couple years, a majority of the baby boomers are retiring. That means they're going to be done with these multifamily properties. It's going to be a lot of those for sale. There's going to be a lot of businesses for sale, cheap, because they've already made their money fivefold, tenfold, and they're ready to get rid of it. Somebody take it, right? They don't owe any money on it,
Mm-hmm.
and you can be creative. They just want out. They want their time back. They've put in they paid their dues, and they want their time back. If you can acquire a company and still pay them, right? Instead of giving them this big check, be like, hey, every month we'll give you this money. They're like, yeah, I like that. I don't have to work and I continue to get paid. Let's do it. Right. And that's why you got guys like Pace Morby and these business acquisition gurus out there that are buying businesses, no money down, buying real estate, no money down, because they're finding those people.
I love how you explained seller finance without using the word seller finance.
Yeah, I mean that word gets played out a little bit too much,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying, look at that opportunity,
Yeah,
right?
a lot in a lot of cases, those mom and pops that are probably not gonna want that big check coming in all at once because they're not gonna roll it into a 1031.
Yeah,
Probably
they're
just
gonna get
want
hit
that
with
pass.
taxes, and
Yeah.
I know somebody that got 125 units, no money down, and making $200 a door, as is
How many doors?
125.
Wow.
So no money down, making 200 a door, got a 2.5% interest rate with this lady who's just done, right? And she's like, the only contingency is that you cannot refi or sell this thing or buy it from me, like buy it, uh, before I die. She doesn't
Yeah.
want to deal with taxes. She doesn't
Yeah.
want to have to deal with all that stuff. She's old, and she's just like, hold on to this, and once I die, you can go do that whole thing and pass all these issues to my kids or whatever. And they
Right.
don't want nothing to do with it. See,
That's
that's
a
another thing. People
yeah.
don't want anything to do with that.
Yeah. And that's a retirement account for her. Like it's a win-win. You're coming in
Yeah.
here making cash flow, actively managing, but making cash flow, and the other
Yep.
person is getting the passive income just by being part of the deal.
Yeah. Everybody has individual specific needs that they want met. And if you can create that win-win for them, you can make any deal work. This is why I love real estate. There's so many pieces of the puzzle, and you can be so creative with it. And we constantly are looking for deals like that.
Yeah. What do you think is something that you're learning about right now um that you're dabbling into?
About real estate?
Yeah, because you never stop learning. You always go
Yeah,
into a
I
bigger
think
room.
I mean, I'm part of a lot of masterminds because, here's the thing. Again, going back to our investors investing money with us, it's extremely important to me that I'm being the best operator I can be. That
Mm-hmm.
means I'm not just learning on the spot with them. I'm actually going to on their money, but I'm going to masterminds. I'm joining different, you know, people that have done it, and I'm learning from them. I'm learning operations like to the max right now. Everything is about operations, like learning operations and tightening the ship, right? So I'm learning a lot of different methods. We're going down the line item by a line item with our management companies, just making sure we keep an eye on our money and creating other value adds. Every dollar generated in a multifamily deal equates to $16 to $25 in valuation.
I guess
So
I never thought about that way.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
if you take, value equals net operating income divided by the cap rate,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you increase by, a dollar, then you take the cap rate. Let's say it's a 5 cap. You take $1 divided by a 5 cap. Your new value is what, $20? 1 divided by 0.05, $20. So
$20.
every dollar. That's why when you increase rents, you increase $100 a unit on 30 units. You got $100 times 30 units times 12 months. That's 36,000 extra dollars you make on a 5 cap building. You divide it by 0.05. That's $720,000 in evaluation.
That's insane.
Yeah. And
That
then
that is insane.
if you take the flip side, and this is why it's so great. This is why syndication and multifamily is so great. If you take the flip side, you got somebody on your staff. You got 3 people working on the staff, and you really don't need 3. But what is this person that's making $2,000 a month costing you? So 2,000 times 12, that's $24,000 a year that you got to pay this person, divided by a 5 cap. This person's costing you $480,000.
Mm,
So see, people don't recognize that, and management companies don't recognize that. They're like just looking at the bottom line of the month. They're looking at how much income they generate. Management companies are motivated by gross income, right? But every single expense item, every time you turn around an apartment unit, it's about $4,000.
yeah.
$4,000, divided by 5 cap, that's $80,000. Every time they save you the tenant, they renew a tenant, it's $80,000 in your pocket.
Mm.
But for them, what they see is,
It's gross.
yeah,
That's
it
it.
doesn't matter. Well, it doesn't matter if there's a turnaround, but if we got new rents, right? Next month, we got higher rents coming in. That's what they care about. But the higher rents, an extra $150 it's not the same as saving the $4,000 in the turnaround for the unit,
Yeah,
right?
that's
The
a conflict of
turnover.
interest. Yeah.
Well, it's just it's not a conflict of interest. It's just they're not paying attention to the bottom line. They're paying attention just to the income because they're motivated by that. So now with my management companies, I'm trying to incentivize expense savings, right? We trying to teach them that the NOI, like the NOI is what's important. It's not about the income. I want to incentivize you guys based on the NOI, based on the net operating income,
How do you
so
structure that?
yeah.
How do you
And
structure how do you structure that is differently? Like you're incentivizing NOI. How are you doing that?
I mean, there's things. I mean, we're still working on like what that incentive is. How do we incentivize them by
Right.
that? But if they want something new, like let's say they want a golf cart or something for the property, like, all right, well, save me this amount of money, and we'll get a golf cart.
Yeah.
Right now it's going to make your life and your jobs easier. Or if we need certain things, we'll give you a bonus. Give you a bonus if our expenses each month hits this number, right? If our occupancy rate hits this number, and we keep it there, then we'll give you a bonus. So we can
Mm,
incentivize bonuses on those things. But everybody has a contract with their management company. The only incentivization that they have is based off of the gross income, right? They make 5-6% off of the gross income. So they're
mm,
not concerned about your NOI. They don't care about the expenses. They'll spend more money, right? They'll spend more money just to get the income up so they make more. But it
mm.
doesn't mean that you make more.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah,
you
because
got to be,
the
yeah,
net profit just goes down. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. I mean, you got your expenses rising with your income, right?
You're
Let's
doing the
say they
same.
let's say they're the same, but now you got to pay your management company more money. That means you're actually losing out.
Losing money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's what you got to pay attention to. Most people are just focused on increasing rents, increasing rents, increasing rents. And being in different, learning from the best like operators in the country,
Yeah.
you know, this is what you focus on. You focus on just the net operating income.
Question.
Mhm.
So, a friend of mine, he's actually a advocate of uh they have inside property management, so they manage all the properties, right? uh they're they just mentioned like you want a big portion of a small pie or a small portion of a big pie, right? Like those are your trade-offs, right? For a property management company, what are your conversations with with those? Because I'm sure not every property management company is going to be open to that discussion, um in which gross income is not their main focus. If that makes sense, I can't rephrase that question. If
Well, so they're not going to change their normal contract, but I'm saying you can incentivize further
yeah,
by saving
but
money.
but what I'm saying is, have you found companies that are not willing to work with you once you've mentioned that?
No, definitely not. I mean, we build a great relationship with our management companies. You know, like we're on a call with them every single week, especially when we first acquire the property. We have operating procedures that they need to incorporate as well, right? They need to take on some of the operating procedures that we have, that you take on and you implement for us on top of the ones that you have. We'll decide that together. What's the operating procedure for when somebody moves out, right? What's the make ready checklist look like? What's the procedure for when somebody is late on their rents? Right? So all of these things are in place, like immediately for our storage deal. 7 days in, they're late. They got to pay late fee, and there's a lock on their unit. Their unit is locked with a separate lock, and if you don't pay, into the second month, your unit goes up for auction. Like if you stray from your operating procedure, if somebody comes and says, "Oh, please, we just need a little more time." Listen, this is a business, right? You got to set the tone for the expectations. You give an inch, they'll take an inch. You give and it's not nothing personal, right? It's like, this is a business that's run. Everybody's got to eat. Everybody depends on it. Like my income depends on it. All these people that works here depends on it. The investors depend on it, right? It depends on you being good with the agreement that we had up front. So we're not going to stray from it. And so those are things that you want to put into place. And some of the things that I'm sharing right now is part of what makes a good operator.
Wow.
And paying attention to your deal.
That's, I guess it's a different insight. It's very interesting. This is actually the first time that I heard about the incentives, which I'm curious to know more about. I'll do my own due diligence, but for now, I think this is a good stopping point. I think it was tons of information. I think it's for anybody. I'll call this syndication 101. I think we've covered a little bit of everything, but it was pretty good. I mean, how can we follow you on social media? Like, what are you working up? Give me like how people can follow you. How can they interact with you? How can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so my Instagram is Alex Lovely, Loveli, and you can find me on Instagram. I do a free call on Mondays and Thursdays, and this is just for pure providing value. Mondays is called Rookie Roundtable, which we help people that are brand new get into the game, especially if you are somebody that is new and you're trying to tell your friends and family what you're up to. If you tell it to them, it's challenging. But if you bring them to my call and you ask me questions that you want them to hear, it's going to be so much more valuable. Then they're going to be like, "Oh yeah, that was really interesting." And then you guys can build your relationship and talk about real estate from there. Because so many people I hear like my family thinks I'm crazy, my friends think I'm crazy. Well, it's because you haven't built the relationship. You didn't take the time to build it. You're just trying to tell them what you're doing. You get too excited and people think you're like drink the Kool-Aid and part of some cult. So Mondays is called the Rookie Roundtable. We teach everything and we bring speakers. And this Monday we have it's social media. Like it's gonna be on social media. So that's Monday night. All the link is in my bio. Thursday nights I do an underwriting call, deal analysis, and so you can find all of that in the link tree in my bio.
Well, that is awesome, man. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. For everybody out there, if you made it this far in the video, please subscribe, hit the like button, follow Alex, follow me. It always helps. This is the best way to show your support. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you, Alex.
Sounds good, brother. Thank you. Appreciate it.